The next subject on current events are a few things related to the COVID-19 pandemic that I wanted to mention. The first is the god-awful prison system in this country. We have loads of prisoners in this country. In fact, more than any country, and by a lot. No country even really comes very close to how many prisoners we have in the United States, even though we aren't the most populated. There are 2.3 million prisoners in this country, and they're being more or less ignored in this outbreak, even though they're going to get hit maybe the worst in this pandemic out of our entire population. But our society and government can't be bothered to pay for the legal fees of getting people released. They can't be bothered to pay for improved sanitation. They can't be bothered to pay for less crowded prisons to begin with. They can't be bothered to buy the staff more medical equipment or personal protective equipment. It's also not a coincidence that we have a lot of for-profit prisons as well as slave labor within the prison system of this country at the same time that we have the largest prison population on the planet. They have a profit incentive to have as many prison cells occupied at any given time as possible. There is money in keeping prisons full. There isn't any money in letting any prisoners go. It's not too complicated. It all comes down to making fucking money. Capitalism has really ruined our ability to handle this entire pandemic in almost every way. Profit is not interested in public health because the fact of the matter is that we have a lot more supplies in this country and a lot more sanitation supplies. So we have a lot more medical supplies and sanitation supplies than we are currently aware of. And this is because so much of it is in private hands. There are doctors who are going online and buying stockpiles of equipment themselves from private companies with their own money. It's there, and so are the resources to start producing these things right now, right here in America, but we don't do it because none of these things have anything to do with profit. They only will spend money in our interest if they really believe they have no choice. And that includes spending money on all of the brave doctors and nurses that all of these politicians are calling heroes. While at the same time, some of them are re-wearing masks for days on end because the system is still only giving them crumbs in return for being so-called heroes. They get accused of stealing masks by our president while they are suffering from a lack of masks. It all really makes me sick. Now, another important subject regarding this global pandemic is another large group of extra vulnerable people when it comes to this global crisis, and that's third world countries. And I'm going to talk about one specifically. But in general, there are certain countries where we are going to see extremely disturbing levels of devastation. Countries such as Nigeria, India, and Haiti. There's an interview in the Gray Zone's Red Line with the host Anya Parampil. I hope I'm saying that right. And she spoke with Dr. Jeb Sprague. I hope I'm saying that right as well, but you guys should check it out at thegrayzone.com. Gray is spelled with an A. And Dr. Jeb Sprague is a research associate at the University of California, Riverside, and he brought up some figures that were disturbing, to say the least, about the situation in Haiti in regarding to the COVID-19 pandemic. So in this interview, the doctor says that it is possible for as many as 800,000 Haitians to die from the pandemic, and their population is only 11.3 million. Make no mistake, these are herd immunity numbers, and there are several reasons that a pandemic is going to take such a steep toll on a country like this. One of them is the lack of medical supplies, and this is due to their lack of capital. Capitalism naturally feeds on the vulnerability of countries such as this. To get a picture of how unprepared they are, the number of ventilators they have is around 64. That's right. 64 for a population of 11.3 million, and a lot of them might not even work properly. What a shameful and grotesque display of disparity that our economic system allows to occur. The other reason this is going to take such a toll is, again, an economic reason. A large amount of the population of Haiti does not have the option of simply sheltering in place. They put food on their plates day to day. So if you look at it from their perspective, it's either quarantine and starve to death or take your chances with the virus. From that perspective, it's an obvious choice, and that is one of the big reasons as to why we are seeing projections of numbers such as this. This is the condition where a population has no choice but to experience the damage that it takes to reach herd immunity like animals. This is disgusting and shameful, and us as humans globally can do better than this. We should all be ashamed of our economic system and moral principles as a country. We should be ashamed that a country in such poverty even exists in the same hemisphere as the wealthiest country on the planet. It is just plain wrong. Haiti is a country that desperately needs help, and it is a country that has needed help before due to devastating hurricanes and earthquakes. You know the country that has been there to help Haiti through these terrible times? Take a guess. It's not America. It's Cuba. Cuba has sent 350 doctors to Haiti in order to help their people with this pandemic. It seems like socialist and communist ideologies are very heavy in solidarity and humanity, which is what our planet needs right now, not only because of this pandemic, but also because of other common struggles, such as climate change and war, which hurt poor people the most compared to anyone. The American people seriously need to wake up, because I know the public opinion of Cuba, for example, in the United States is very low, which is absurd. Cuba is possibly the most generous country in the entire Western Hemisphere and should be seen as a role model when it comes to its foreign policy of helping people that need it. And we should lift the sanctions.